I met Dr. Nagler several years ago. I had been a pharmaceutical representative and had been previously calling on Dr. Nagler. So I had a little bit of a comfort level with seeing Dr. Nagler. Being a pharmaceutical rep, I'm on my feet quite a bit. And with that being said, I had started to develop a bunion and I started developing lots of pain, and it made it very difficult walking in and out of my clinics, walking for long distances of time. So I had done a lot of research on bunionectomy and felt pretty comfortable. And then I decided to make an appointment with Dr. Nagler and come in and sit down with him. Now, also being the pharmaceutical rep, I am full of questions. So I had a long laundry list of questions, and Dr. Nagler made it very, very comfortable for me. He took the time to answer all of my questions. Even though it was a long list of them, he went over the entire process with me from the beginning to the end and made me really feel comfortable with my decision. I had an Austin bunionectomy on my right foot. And I also had a hammer toe on the right toe as well, on the right foot. Great deal of pain. It made it very difficult to put on any type of a shoe, whether it was a flat shoe or a heel or even just a sneaker. It was that throbbing pain that I felt constantly during walking. And sometimes even at the end of the day, when I would take my shoes off, I would just have that throb, that constant throb. In the parking structures, and I would have to walk such a great distance. Oftentimes I didn't think I would be able to make it. So it got to the point where I was carrying 2 pairs of shoes in the car with me. I was carrying a pair to walk in to get to my offices, and then a pair once I got inside of the physician's office, and I would put on another pair of shoes. So it just became very cumbersome every day to tote around 2 pairs of shoes. Yes, and I have to say, for the entire surgery, that the part that was most challenging or most difficult for me was not being able to work out. I'm an avid runner. I've run several marathons, and I also go to the gym quite a bit. And so not being able to get into the gym and do some cardio was quite hard for me in the beginning, but I listened to Dr. Nagler. I took his advice. I stayed off my foot. I gave myself a lot of rest because I really wanted to heal properly and I didn't want any setbacks. I had my surgery December 24th, and I was in a post-op shoe for approximately one week. And right after the post-op shoe, I was in a walking boot, which made it a much better to kind of navigate and get around in. And I wore that walking boot roughly about 3 to 4 weeks. So the entire process from the surgery to the boot was roughly 4 weeks. The morning of the surgery, arriving at the surgery center, I was waiting in bed and waiting to be pushed over to the surgery center, and Dr. Nagler came over to greet me, and it really made me feel comfortable. I mean, it made me feel so great just to have the physician to come in and talk to you prior to the surgery, and it really calmed me down. It really reduced my anxiety, and I felt really good going into the surgery. It's, to see his face ahead of time. So it was a really great experience at the surgery center, and all of the staff and the nurses were very nice and very friendly there. I have been, I would highly recommend Dr. Nagler and the staff. The staff made me feel very warm, very welcome. I was often emailing the staff when I had a lot of anxiety prior to the surgery. They were very prompt at answering my emails, getting back to me, calling me on the phone, as well as Dr. Nagler. He was very personable. Just the time that he took. And I know that all of physicians are very busy, but he didn't ever seem rushed. He listened to all of my concerns. So since the surgery, I have had so many friends to ask me about my surgery and the process, and I have overwhelmingly referred Dr. Nagler to so many of my friends. And as a sidebar, I have a couple of my physicians that I currently call on that have too asked me about Dr. Nagler, and they have wanted his contact information. And so he has tremendously changed my entire life and really gave me back a level of comfort, and now I owe him the world.